Picture this. Televised depictions of the most arbitrary things you could ever spectate. Well, you are no longer left having to imagine such things, as that's exactly why you'd be exposed to today. With capricious twists, with sweat-inducing storytelling, this channel has it all. Watch it all unfold here. But do remember, viewers' discretion is advised. Picture number 1. Am I the asshole for telling my fiance that me getting a job isn't an option unless changes are made? I have an income. I make $800 to $1,000 a month, but it's while doing a hobby, not a real job. So here's the deal. Pre-virus I worked as a med tech and I had been working there for 4 years. I made great money because of how much overtime I worked weekly. It was not a choice I made to work that much. We had a policy where if someone called out, you were not allowed to leave unless you found coverage for the shift that someone else abandoned. This was because it was only me and one other CRMA on the floor for over 200 residents and they needed meds but no one else was qualified. Usually the only people who could cover was management and they just outright refused 24/7, so I got stuck there nearly every single day to cover. During this time my fiancé didn't work. Someone needed to stay home with the kids. Well, I caught the virus from work and was out 14 days, unpaid. When I came back I was told to turn in my badge and leave. They got me for job abandonment because I didn't call in every single day. I was awarded wrongful termination compensation but refused to return after that. Currently my fiancé works 2 jobs, by his own choice. He comes home the other day completely burnt out. I get that. I was that person, so I understand. But he took it at this moment and decided to lash out and tell me I needed to get a real job because him working 2 jobs isn't what he blanking wants. It's not what I want either. But here's the thing. We are down to 1 vehicle. He totaled his schedule clash. No one will be here to get the kids off the bus. They are young, etc. So I told him that I would not be getting a real job unless changes were made. Either we get a second vehicle and he stops using mine, because I will not be getting the kids up at 4:30 am to drive him to work, going back to get the kids on the bus, leaving work early to get the kids off the bus and then going back out an hour later to collect him from work an hour and 20 minutes away every single day. He finds a way to get the kids off the bus or pays for a daycare, which we literally cannot afford. He won't though. We don't have the means to, so it's not an unreasonable refusal, but we truly cannot do it. We have no friends in the area. All family lives out of state, so we have no chance at getting help with the kids, and it's not like I don't have an income. But he thinks I'm just sitting around having fun while he busts his blank, and that's not the case, but he has resorted to saying I'm living the high life when he is bending backwards. I've also tried applying for at-home positions, but that blank him off because he thinks I'm going to become isolated and depressed from lack of socialization. Am I the blank hole? Here lies picture number 2. Am I the asshole if I tell her I'm not paying her back? Backstory. I met my boyfriend in December of 2020. We began dating in March of 2021. He moved in with me in April of 2021. At the time he was living with his grandmother before he moved in with me, and I was living in an old motel they had been remodeled into efficiency apartments. Everyone who lived in the building at the time I moved in were residents of +2 years and everyone paid a flat fee monthly. I paid $700 per mo for myself, my 2-year-old daughter and my boyfriend. Everything included right down to water, cable, internet and trash pickup. My boyfriend's grandmother became embarrassed because he was seeing a girl who lived in a motel and she told my boyfriend this. She called us over to her house and told us that we were gonna move in with her. While I really didn't want to, I was guilt-tripped into it because, how could you not want better for your daughter? When we moved in we were told we would just help with the bills because they would go up with 3 extra people living there. The home his grandmother lives in belongs to her deceased ex-husband's mom and she is allowed to live there rent-free. We were covering all of the light bill, between $100 to $140, cable, $120, water, trash, $80 to $100, as well as groceries, $100 per WKLY separately from what we handed her, and household things, $50 per mo separately from what we handed her. She would tell us to pay like $450 to $600 mo. I also cooked for everyone in the house and cleaned up after them. We had many discussions about how I was worried she would kick us out, and she swore that she would never do anything like that. If we asked why we were paying $600 instead of how much the bills equaled that month, $140 plus $120 plus $100 equals $360. We were told that she could charge us whatever because it was her house. She ended up kicking us out in February of this year after she got a new boyfriend. He didn't want to stay at her house with us being there. In order to get us to leave pretty much ASAP, she offered to pay the deposit for our new apartment, $425 for the rent, $250 for the water and $200 for the electric. She said she expected us to pay her back for the deposits, to which I told her I didn't know that I would be able to because now our rent alone was $800 per mo and money was going to be tight. Recently she brought up the fact that she was nice enough to let us live in her home and we never paid her back for helping us get our apartment. Would I be the blank hole if I told her that I'm not paying her back? She didn't have to buy food, pay her electric bill, or water the whole time we lived there, and quite frankly I feel like I shouldn't have to pay her back because of the fact that I paid the bills plus some while I lived there. Behold. Picture number 3. Am I the asshole for asking my older brother to clean? My 22 older brother, 31, refuses to clean anything. The most he will do is take out the bins, walk the dog and do the shopping. And maybe the dishwasher once every week if that. For reference, our late mum never taught us to clean. She gave us zero discipline, and as an adult I am now realizing how important it is. I am the one who organized an uplift to get rid of a lot of blank from my mum's room and the house in general. I am a full-time uni student who works part-time at a labor-intensive job with several chronic illnesses, plus depression and anxiety, pages circa O. S. E. D. S and M. E. I am in constant pain and genuine exhaustion, which I have been going to the doctors for. I'm also getting dental surgery to fix my teeth since I never brushed them as a kid. With EDS and genetics my teeth are legitimately rotten. My dad also works full-time, so I never expect him to do much work, although he does really want to paint the house, which can only happen if we clean the house. My brother knew about the uplift for about a month and he refused to do anything, until the day before the uplift was due, where I had to ask for an extension on my uni deadline as he refused to do anything until the day before. This man refuses to bathe or wash his clothes. He has never had a partner. He has one friend who he sees once every few weeks. He doesn't work or even look for a job. He only applied for uni after my dad and I pestered him to do something. We have tried telling him to go to the doctors, but he refuses to call them as 3 years ago they said they were busy. And when I say refuses to bathe, I don't mean he'll shower once a week. He will wait months before showering. We have tried asking him if he's depressed, he says no. We tell him to get tested for autism, he says no. He won't do anything and I am sick of it. Today I asked him if he was going to do any work, like cleaning or anything, and he says no. I ask him to at least clear his chair in the living room. He says no, he doesn't know where the clothes go. I tell him to take a guess since he lives here, and he replies with, "Fine, I'll take a guess, but if I get it wrong it's your fault." I ask him to tell me genuinely what the matter is and why he won't do anything. All he replies with is, "You." Let's just say that. I ask him to elaborate and he refuses to. How am I the blank hole for asking him to do the bare minimum that a human should do to live in a house? Just for clarification, an uplift is a service provided by the council so you can easily get rid of big items, such as wardrobes, stoves and bin bags. Setting up camp is picture number 4. Am I the asshole, 24F, for lying to my mom, 52F, about abiding by the 90-day rule? So my mom and I recently bought a house together in another state. My mom and my 1-year-old daughter moved here in mid-April. Since moving, I found myself a boyfriend who is really sweet and helps to take care of my child and helps around the house. He's fallen on tough times, So he's been staying with us, but he's been contributing in expenses and pays us $200 a week while he finds another place. I don't mind because like I said, he helps to watch my daughter and does various work around the house like mowing the lawn, fixing windows, taking out the trash and recycles, helping to fix things etc. I actually like it because our mortgage is almost $3,000 a month and he contributes a good portion to that, plus my daughter has taken a liking to him. He also loves me very much. However, my mom has an issue with him staying over at times because she's uncomfortable with us having blank at the house. However, I'm 24 and it's my house too. We're co-owners. So I feel like I should be able to have blank in the comfort of my home. Well, this morning, I mentioned how I was having feminine issues down there and my mom said it was probably because I have a latex allergy like her. I immediately got defensive because she was implying that I was using condoms with my boyfriend and I told her that I wasn't comfortable having this discussion and she said that neither was she. I grew up super conservative. When it came to the topic blank, my mom would make it seem like having blank was the worst thing in the world and made me feel ashamed. Even after having a child, I still feel ashamed and uncomfortable talking to my mom about blank, so I told my mom that me and him were abiding by the 90-day rule. This of course is a lie. Me and him have been having blank a lot in my room. We're just discreet about it. She came to me after I sent her this in a text and said she was so proud of me and how my boyfriend must really love me. Part of me feels bad for lying, but it feels like she's uncomfortable with me being intimate with my boyfriend at home, so I guess what she doesn't know won't hurt her. Part of me feels like the blank for lying and subjecting her to potentially walking in during an intimate moment, but the other part of me feels like I'm an adult and should have blank in the house. Am I the blank hole for lying and continuing to have blank in our house? The 90-day rule is not having blank for 90 days in a new relationship.